Hello there, this is Tejas from Trendline, and in this video, we'll be looking at the portfolios of three superstar investors who follow different investment strategies. We'll also look at how their best over the past few quarters paid off and those that didn't. The three superstar portfolios that are in focus are Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Sunil Singhania, and Ashish Kacholia. So after the markets hit new highs in 2021, they cooled off significantly. Some markets globally are trading in the bear market territory, which is a fall of 20% from the highs. Tech stocks, which were trading at sky high valuations, have taken a beating as well in 2022. So let's look at how this volatile market has affected the superstars portfolios and what sectors they're betting on lately. Let's start with the big bull, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. This slides give an overview of Jhunjhunwala and his associates' portfolio. The preferred sector here is the banking and finance sector. The portfolio is down 12% since Q4 FY22 with his total public holding value below 30,000 crore rupees as of June 8th. In Q4 FY22, his main buys were in the banking and finance sector. Overall, looking at over the last 5 quarters, the comparison chart shows us that Jhunjhunwala and Associates saw two new holdings added in Q3 FY22, Metro Brands and Star Health and Allied Insurance Company. So both these companies, which were listed in December 2021, made it into his top four holdings. And with regard to the other two companies, Titan and Tata Motors, this investor increased his stakes in FY22. The banking and finance sector comprises of about 35% of his portfolio, whereas textile, apparel, and accessories, mainly gems and jewelry, include 33%. Jhunjhunwala is a promoter in Star Health and Allied Insurance Company. So, accounting for this superstar investments are quite concentrated at the top. About 75% of his public portfolio is made up of five stocks: Titan, Star Health and Allied Insurance Company, Metro Brands, Tata Motors, and CRISIL. It is important to note here that Jhunjhunwala intends to be a long-term investor in Star Health and Allied Insurance Company, as he is classified as a promoter here. And his top holding, Titan, has underperformed both its sector and Nifty 50 by a considerable margin. The stock fell about 17% in the last 90 days, with its weak results contributing to the fall. In addition, all his top buys are also underperforming their sectors. So, as a result of all this, the top stocks and top buys not performing well, the value of his public portfolio fell over 12% since March 2022 to 29,029 crore as of June 8th. Jhunjhunwala reduced his stakes in Escorts, TV18 and Wockhardt. This looks like a good decision given the fact that all three of the stocks fell between 13 to 36% in the last 90 days. And he also sold a marginal 0.05% of his stake in Aptech, where he is the promoter and currently holds 23.35% of the total stake. So looking at his latest buys in Q4 FY22, two out of three buys were from the sector he prefers. That is the banking and finance. He also increased his stake in the pharma company Jubilant Pharmova. Most of his bets are in the mid to large cap category. Additionally, he also reduced his stakes in Titan and CRISIL, which feature in his top five holdings as well. Now let's look at another superstar investor with a different investment strategy. Sunil Singhania has a diversified portfolio when compared to Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. He invests through his company called Abacus Asset Management, which I will refer to as the Abacus Fund from here. Sunil Singhania's Abacus Fund is trying to diversify its portfolio away from its top holding in FY22. All his top four holdings saw a decrease as of Q4 FY22. This comes at a time when the tech stocks are in a downtrend. Mastech and Route Mobile are the top two holdings of the Abacus Fund. The superstar investor, through his fund, reduced his stake in both these IT companies in FY22. Even though Abacus Fund reduced its stake in tech stocks in FY22, it still remains the most preferred sector, as 31% of the total holdings is made up of stocks in the IT space. Abacus's top five bets make up of about 53% of the total public portfolio. The fund sector preferences are software and services and metals and mining. He also has holdings in a few consumer durable stocks as well. Abacus Fund's top holding are in the IT space, which are Mastech and Route Mobile, and Jindal Stainless Hisar, which is the third largest constituent of Abacus holdings, lost about 37% of its value in the last 90 days. Other two companies that made it into the Abacus's top 5 bets are Polyplex Corporation and Acrisil. So this huge fall of about 37% in Jindal Stainless Hisar stock, coupled with the downturn in the IT stocks, led to a 22% fall in his portfolio since Q4 FY22 to 1,772 crore as of June 8th, 2022. All of Abacus' top bets in Q4 FY22 are in the small cap space. The fund added a 1.14 stake in Rupa and Company in Q4 FY22 to increase the stake to 3.2%. However, the stock is down more than 12% in the last 90 days. So looking at the latest buys, it looks like Singhania is focusing more on the manufacturing sector, mainly industrial machinery and packaging companies. Sunil Singhania did not add any tech stock to Abacus' portfolio, despite tech being his preferred sector. In fact, he sold a marginal stake in Root Mobile in Q4 FY22. He also paid his stake in Paris Defense and Space Technologies to below 1% from 1.5% in Q4 FY22. His top sells include companies in metals and mining, general industries, and media. Few companies that made it into the sell list are Surya Roshni, AGI Greenpack, Jindal Stainless Hisar, and Saregama India. Now let's look at the movement of holdings of our third superstar investor, Ashish Kacholia. This slide gives an overview of his portfolio, which is quite diversified. So let's get into it. So as seen in this comparative chart, this superstar investor also reduced his stakes in IT companies in FY22. Like Sunil Singhania, Kacholia also prefers to invest in the software and services space. However, he reduced his stake in his top two holdings, which operate in the software and services segment, that are Mastech and NIIT in FY22. VRL Logistics is a new entry in the top four holdings as Kacholia bought about 1.4% stake in the company in Q2 FY22. And Ashish Kacholia's investments are more diversified when compared to the previous two investors. His top five holdings constitute only about 35% of his total portfolio. Like Singhania, Kacholia's most preferred sector is also IT space, followed by general industries and finally pharmaceuticals as well. Kacholia's publicly available investments are mainly focused on mid to small cap universe. In fact, all his latest buys in Q4 FY22 are small cap stocks. So the top four buys in Q4 FY22 were new additions to his portfolio. These companies are Creative New Tech, Finiotex Chemicals, Stokecraft, and Gravita India. His top buy in Q4 was in the software and services sector in a small cap company called Creative New Tech. He bought a 2.8% in this IT company. However, this stock has lost about 11.2% in the last 90 days as the IT sector has underperformed the benchmark index by a huge margin. Kacholia's top sells in Q4 FY22 include companies like Vishnu Chemicals, So Many Home Innovation, Moltech Packaging, among others. So this superstar's portfolio includes Mastech and NIIT as his top two bets. Other companies in his top five holdings include Shaily Engineering Plastics, VRL Logistics, and Vishnu Chemicals. While VRL and Vishnu Chemicals rose in the past 90 days, Mastech and Shaily Engineering fell. With two out of his top three holdings trading in the red and his top by Creative New Tech down 12% in the last 90 days, Kacholia's portfolio declined 18% since Q4 FY22 to rupees 1,587 crore as of June 8th. So to round it up, the net worth change of all three superstars fell anywhere between 12 to 22% as of June 8th since the Q4 FY22. While Jhunjhunwala continues to focus on the banking and finance sector, Singhania's Abacus Fund and Kacholia are diversifying away from the software and services segment. Both these superstars are focusing on the small cap companies, especially in the manufacturing segment like containers and packaging industries. So this was the portfolio analysis of three superstar investors with different investing styles. Despite their investing acumen, all their portfolios have seen a slide in the recent sell-off. So you can find these and many more superstar portfolios on trendlyne.com. This is Tejas signing off.